Imagine this. You spend years saving money, finally buy your first investment property, and a few months later, you realize you're losing money every single month, not because the market crashed, but because of a few small mistakes you didn't even notice. Real estate is often considered one of the safest investments, but every year, many new investors lose money in the property market, not because real estate doesn't work, but because they make predictable beginner mistakes. Today, we're going to decode 5 of the most common mistakes new property investors make. Welcome to Decode Advanced English on Wealth by Hana House, where English meets finance, investing, and real-world thinking. In our previous lesson, we talked about cash flow and capital gain investments. Today, we'll apply that idea to one of the most popular assets in the world, real estate. To understand this topic better, let's hear what our experts have to say. Alistair and Victoria.
When discussing investments, it's helpful to understand how they generate returns. Property investing can be very rewarding, but it can also be quite unforgiving for inexperienced investors.
Indeed, many beginners underestimate the complexity of the real estate market,
And they often repeat the same mistakes.
which fortunately can be avoided with proper knowledge.
So, what are the most common mistakes beginners make? Let's listen to Liam and Sophie.
I'm seriously thinking about buying my first investment property.
That's exciting, but be careful.
Why?
Because beginners often make the same mistakes.
Like what?
First, they buy property based on emotion, not numbers.
You mean falling in love with the house?
Exactly. Second, they ignore cash flow.
So they only hope the price goes up?
Yes. Third, many investors use too much leverage.
Borrowing too much money?
Right. If interest rates rise, that can become very risky.
That makes sense.
Another mistake is not understanding the market cycle.
Buying when prices are already very high.
Exactly. And finally, many beginners don't fully understand the contracts and legal obligations.
So reading the fine print actually matters.
More than most people realize.
That was a very insightful discussion. Let's quickly recap the 5 common mistakes we just heard. First, making decisions based on emotion instead of data. Second, ignoring cash flow and relying only on future price increases. Third, using too much leverage, which can increase risk significantly. Fourth, not understanding the market cycle and buying at the wrong time. And finally, not paying enough attention to legal details and contracts. If you look closely, all of these mistakes share one thing in common. They come from a lack of understanding and a lack of discipline. Successful investors don't just focus on making money, they focus on managing risk, thinking long-term, and making informed decisions. That's what separates beginners from experienced investors. Now let's decode some useful vocabulary from today's lesson. Term number 1, leverage, meaning using borrowed money to invest. Example, many real estate investors use leverage to purchase property. Another example, leverage can increase profits, but it can also increase financial risk. Term number 2, market cycle, meaning the repeating pattern of growth, peak, decline, and recovery in a market. Example, successful investors try to understand the market cycle. Another example, buying during the wrong part of the market cycle can reduce investment returns. Reminder term, capital gain. You may remember this term from our previous lesson. A capital gain occurs when the value of an asset increases. Example, some real estate investors rely mainly on capital gains rather than rental income. Real estate can be a powerful investment, but success often depends less on luck and more on avoiding common mistakes. Successful investors usually focus on understanding the market, managing risk, and making decisions based on data rather than emotion. Today we explored 5 common mistakes beginner real estate investors make. But learning from mistakes is only half of the story. In the next lesson, we'll explore the other side, 5 powerful real estate strategies successful investors use. You've been watching Decode Advanced English on Wealth by Hana House, where English meets finance, investing, and real-world thinking. See you in the next lesson.